lip gloss.
Correct.
Postville event. This is the
This is some kids trick-or-treating with dogs and they're supposed to be selling all kinds of
Coastville Oktoberfest. This is an event for the youth out here. You know what I mean? And then with the ghosts and goblins, all the tricks and treats. You know what I mean? There is no holidays of the 10% that we should be celebrating. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Ali. And today we're going to cover the messenger teachings on Halloween, or All's Hallows Eve. I want y'all to just, see some of the decorations around our neighborhood for Halloween, trick-or-treat as they call it. And I'm not coming forward as being some anti-holiday, self-righteous type. So I just want you to understand the types of decorations that some people have. In fact, I would say most people have. Because for Halloween, you could dress up as angels, you could dress up as Jesus, you could dress up as a Jew, a Muslim, something positive, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, a nurse. But it seems like most people, when it comes to Halloween, they intentionally or unintentionally focus on the negative. They focus on the devil, the demons, the ghosts, the goblins, the zombies, the witches. They focus on the dark side, the negative side. And that's basically how Halloween is celebrated ever since I've been in the wilderness of North America. I mean, when I was a child, I used to celebrate Halloween. I didn't really know or care too much about what I was doing. The only thing I knew was that we was able to get some candy. So we basically participated because we just wanted to get some of the free candy. It's our neighbor's house, some people go all out. And I remember my mother explained it to us that we had to bring our candy home before we ate, because sometimes people put razor blades in the apples. Imagine that, trying to cut the little children's mouth all up with the razor blade. You know what I mean? But fortunately, we never had no razor blades in none of our stuff. You know what I mean? In fact, I don't remember none of my friends having none either. But we had some good candy, some bad candy, some healthy fruit. Sometimes people gave out money. Those houses we doubled back to. You know what I mean? But when you get knowledge of self and you start to understand this stuff and you start to become conscious about it, it makes you aware. You know what I mean? It makes you more responsible. You don't intentionally try to be preachy about it, but it's just so crazy that you be like, you gotta help wake our people up, gotta help educate our people. I mean, so today we just want to share with you some little scriptures from the Bible, some scriptures from the Quran, little history, give you some of the wisdom, the supreme wisdom of Messenger Elijah Muhammad on holidays, if you will, so-called holidays, so-called holy days. Because it's one thing to celebrate a holy day and your intent is to have fun, get into tradition, family. But if the ritual is unholy, you want to at least be conscious of that. We out here, I grew up in the hood, but Allah blessed us to move out. We in a little suburban community now. You know what I mean? Usually quiet around here, no crime and nothing like that there. But the traditions of America is still here. The politics of America is still here. the institutionalized racism is still here. Most of our neighbors is, I would say 99.99% of them is nice, respectful. You know what I mean? But there's always a fool here and there. But you always have that opportunity to put things in check. You know what I mean? You know, I definitely believe in respecting all people, demand respect from all people, as the messenger teaches us in our lessons. You know what I mean? So, you know, we never had to really check nobody or nothing like that. You know, but of course the Donald Trump era, you know, he poisoned so many people politically. You had that political rage going on. So I mean, some people put their flags up, people put their little Trump stuff up, and you know what I mean, you know, and people put their Black Lives Matter stuff up, and you know, you gotta let your position be known sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta check the devil. As the Bible says, resist the devil, he'll flee from you. So we're just gonna head on out to where you wanna go at? You wanna go down going down Lincoln Highway?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to basically drive out this little country club area, take y'all to the hood part. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing about America, no matter where you at. You know, once you go across the tracks, or once you go across the creek, or once you go across the bridge, or what have you, to the other side, you know what I mean? You see the classism, the racism, you see the sexism, and all the isms that America's known for the past 500 years. Still alive, well, and controlled. So, going to take and just turn this off for now, and just take y'all to the hood part. You know what I mean, this is the clean, nice part. You know what I mean, take y'all down where, you know, the human monsters and goblins be at. You know what I mean? But don't let these little nice houses fool you or fake you out, because inside of there it could be living chaos. You know what I mean? It could look like heaven on the outside, but it be pure hell on the inside. You know what I mean? You know, so we ain't going to sleep around here. We know where we at. We know where we at on this planet. We know where we at in this nation. We know the struggle continues. You know, so we count our blessings, not our troubles. And we're gonna take y'all on the little spiritual feast on the messenger teachings on Halloween. You know what I mean? On little doggy. They got the big ghosts. They got the pumpkins. You know what I mean? To decorate, they got the Grim Reaper. I know a lot of people got the Grim Reaper, a lot of people got the ghosts, but we have to ask ourselves, what is the origin of these ghosts? What is the origin? Why they got these pumpkins and zombies and the Grim Reaper? You know what I mean? What is the real meaning behind these symbols and rituals? What do they mean by a trick or a treat? You know what I mean? That's one of the things the devils did when they came in Africa. They gave us a trick or a treat. You know what I mean? If you get the trick, you trick. If you get the treat, you still trick. You know what I mean? You still end up with cavities and diabetes. You still end up with acne and toxins in your body and artificial flavors and artificial colors. I remember when I was talking to a MOVE member, and their children don't eat candy. You know what I mean? And you could just see the brightness in their eyes, the whiteness of their teeth. You know what I mean? They unlike us, they wasn't eating freeze pops and popsicles and now laters and bubble gum and soda pop and all the other stuff, meat and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Which shows that, you know, John Africa had a common sense plan of action and program for his people. You know what I mean? Anything that teaches you to be in harmony or balance with Mother Nature helps. And anything that takes you into processed food, fast food joints, drugs, alcohol, guns, violence, division, chaos, divorce, miseducation, no education, poverty. That's hell on earth. So we don't look up in the sky for God, and we definitely don't look underneath the ground for no devils. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us ain't no sense in looking high, because ain't no God up in that sky. And ain't no sense in looking down, because ain't no devil in that ground. But all the gods and devils and demons and angels are right here on earth. They're human beings who think and act according with the laws of polarity. Either we're striving for the positive or we're striving for the negative. Our challenge is to strive for the positive. And it's a struggle. But that's the nature of this universe in which we live. You know what I mean? We see the trees beautiful, they turn them brown. You know what I mean? They went through that summer season. You know what I mean? Eventually all the leaves gonna fall off and the winter season gonna come in. The Bible teaches us in the book of Ecclesiastes it's a time or a season for everything. You know what I mean? And the Kabbalah and our ancestors taught us that the law of polarity is in everything. You know what I mean? We have positive and negative, darkness and light, life and death, male and female, old and young, rich and poor, up and down, in and out. That's the universal order of things. The very atoms of this universe is protons and electrons, positive forces and negative forces. 5% and 10%. The poor righteous teachers, and the 10% is the rich slave makers of the poor. So we're now heading towards what they call Lincoln Highway in Coatesville. Lincoln Highway, for those of y'all that may not be aware of it, is the oldest and longest highway in the United States of America. This street goes from Pennsylvania all the way to California. I mean, this is a very, 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 very long highway. I mean, 3,000 miles. I mean, so it's different portions depending on what part you're on. We're about to just breeze through. What's that like from First Avenue? We're gonna go through like from First Avenue to 8th Avenue. We ain't gonna be out here too long, doing too much. You know what I mean? We just gonna give y'all a little peek. 21st century Halloween. Some people don't celebrate it. Conscious people don't celebrate it. Some conscious people that have children, you know, as parents, they do wrong right. Their neon or their intentions may be whatever, but some parents let their children trick or treat. You know, I'm not one to judge. You know what I mean? But my thing is, the message teaches us the 17 ways of Islamic culture that actions are judged by intentions. Actions may appear wrong, but motives bring rewards. You know what I mean? So, you know, even though, you know, they may dress that child up as Malcolm X, as Nelson Mandela, as Elijah Muhammad, as Sister Tynetta Muhammad, as Minister Farrakhan, as Father-in-Law. They may have a positive thing. They may have all natural, sugar-free candy for the children. They may have fresh fruits and positive things going on at their event. You know what I mean? Who knows? This is America, you know what I mean? So you know, we adapt, we get in where we fit in. You know what I mean? You know, so like I said, I leave that up to the parents. You know what I mean? It's your child, you know what I mean? You should never let a religious minister or imam or rabbi or politician decide what's best for you and your family. You should have the wisdom to listen to advice from anyone, you know what I mean? But ultimately, the decision should be yours. You know what I mean? You know, you weigh the pros and cons of it. You know what I mean? You use the best parts. Like the proverbial crane, you had that wrecking ball, but you also have your forklift where you can pick things up. You know what I mean? You can pick things up and build with it, but sometimes you need the wrecking ball to knock stuff down, knock down the old stuff. You know what I mean? So that's how you build for real. You build and you destroy. You can't build without destroying. You can't destroy without building. You know what I mean? That's the 8. That's the symbol of infinity on the side. You know what I mean? So this right here is Lincoln Highway. You know what I mean? These little young boys been out here for a while. How long ago we was out there? We gave them, they out here hustling legally, selling that spring waters. We pulled up on them. We, you know, instead of buying the water, we really didn't want the water, but we still gave them the money. Just let them keep the money and explain to them, you know what I mean, to stay positive, keep that entrepreneurial spirit. Because anytime you see some young boys trying to legally hustle out here on these streets in the hood, you should support black, even if they youth. You know what I mean? You know, because they could be out here selling some other stuff. I mean, they could be out here selling poison. They could be out here involved in negativity. You know, I remember growing up when we Halloween season, we had what they call mystery nights, where we throw A's on people's cars and toilet paper and do all kind of practical jokes. You know what I mean? Stupidity. You know what I mean? But when you're a child, you think like a child. You act like a child. You do childish things. You know what I mean? We consider it having fun. We went to a little event out here they had earlier. What that was that? They had the community
Harvest Fest.
They had the community Harvest Fest out here today for the youth, which was Oktoberfest 2021 out Coatesville. You know what I mean? Nice positive thing. No violence, no shootings. You know what I mean? You know, they had little stuff for the kids, caramel corn and little vending tables out there. You know what I mean? So it was promoting common unit in the community. You know what I mean? So we just stopped by to pay our respects, you know what I mean? And kept it moving. So we're going to get into this Halloween theme and share with y'all some of the jewels that the messenger shared with us and give y'all some little spiritual precepts to consider. You know what I mean? You know, because we're in that season, we're in that era of, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't partake in it, but a lot of people do. Me personally, I don't believe in any of these so-called holidays, but I'm not self-righteous. I'm not adamant about it. I got family members that's into it. You know what I mean? So it's like anytime, you know, black family could come together, I'm there. You know what I mean? Usually we there for funerals and weddings and Thanksgiving and hospital visits and things like that there. So it's like, you know, anything positive, I come together and support it. You know what I mean? Like even I done been at events where family or friend want to open up in prayer in the name of Jesus. I don't be like, oh, I'm FY. I mean, you know, Jesus, you know, he was a black prophet. And I don't get into a religious dogmatic thing. You know what I mean? I respect all people, demand respect from all people. You know what I mean? I let them do that thing. You know what I mean? You know, they ask me to open up, I'll open up in a universal prayer. You know what I mean? You know, they know what I believe, I know what they believe. So it's a respect thing there. You know what I mean? You know, there's no compulsion in Islam. Forced faith is no faith. You know what I mean? And all of the spiritual sciences are so-called religions. They all teach the same thing, just in a different way. You know what I mean? And amongst all so-called faith groups in the United States of America and around the world for that matter, you have those that sincerely strive to practice the tenets, and you have your lip professors, you have your hypocrites, you know what I mean? You have your fanatics, you know what I mean? I just try to be balanced in all things, you know what I mean? Use common sense, you know what I mean? And keep it moving, you know what I mean? You know, if it's an opportunity for me to share a jewel, I'm going to teach. And sometimes you just got to shut up. You know what I mean? So you got to know when to speak, when not to speak, when to teach and when not to teach, when to preach, when not to preach. You know what I mean? Me being a minister, I could go in on certain subjects, but it's like you got to be able to come down to the level are the people that you're trying to communicate with. You gotta be patient with them. You know what I mean? You don't want to break that peace trying to teach them peace. You know what I mean? I know Christians that go to church and go to school, go to work, got their own businesses, and whatever they doing in the name of Jesus is working for them. I know brothers that wear their kufis and they have that Sunni beard, they wear their robes, or they wear their street clothes and hoodies, whatever, and they practicing the deen to the best of their ability, and they stay out of trouble, they take care of their families, they pay their bills, they conscious, they spiritual, they healthy, they happy. Who am I to come in and tell them, oh, you should leave that and come over here? I don't get in that. I respect them. You know what I mean? You know, I praise the Lord. Assalamu alaikum. You know what I mean? You know, peace God. You know what I mean? Hotep. Assalamu Allah. Depends on who you are. You know what I mean? You know, so you know, we try to speak that language and share brotherhood and sisterhood with the family as best we can. That's how you get through this holiday so-called season. You know what I mean? They got all the scary movies on TV. Growing up, I used to love them little scary movies. You know, a lot of them is just corny to me now, so I don't really watch them now. I'm not too much into that. Today we watched a real good joint on what is that, National Geographic. They got new computer technology where they was able to take all the old 1914 video footage of King Tut's tomb discovery and digitally remaster it, and they got the whole thing in color so we could see what Howard Carter and all the tomb robbers saw. Now, I mean, it was a real interesting, positive program, the National Geographic show. You know what I mean? Of course, with watching something, you don't agree 100% with nothing, but it was real informative. I liked it. You know what I mean? And that's how I live my life. You know what I mean? You know, me and my wife, we have our peace. You know what I mean? You know, it's we've been together now like 30 years. You know what I mean? But it's not 30 years of holy matrimony. It's 30 years of unification. You know what I mean? Of love and business and family. You know what I mean? This is my friend, my partner. You know what I mean? And I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. We don't pretend to be perfect. We don't expect perfection, but we strive for perfection. We strive to, you know, keep the family together. 30 years, I never called out her name. She never called me out her name. I never put my hands on her. She never put her hands on me. You know what I mean? Because she now would have hit her with this left hook. But all joking aside, one of the things that makes a relationship work is we bust on each other. We joke a lot. We have fun. You know what I mean? We don't take each other seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously. You know what I mean? And we keep Allah and His messenger out front, not no mystery God, but Master Muhammad, the supreme Allah, and His first, last, and only messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, we don't be fanatical about dry fasting and eating one meal a day and living a vegan life and wearing suits and bow ties and guards, but we got all that in the house too. Sometimes we put that on, sometimes we do that, sometimes we fast, sometimes we do vicious vegan things. I mean, probably like 90% of, I would say like 80% of the time we eat vegan anyway. You know what I mean? But it's not because we're on some holier than thou stuff. It's just like certain vegan stuff just tastes good. Certain, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables is healthy for you. You know what I mean? So she's in good health. I'm in good health. We ain't got no complaints or problems from the doctor. You know what I mean? And that don't stop us from pulling over to a fast food joint and getting something to eat, getting a snack, getting some pizza or something. It wouldn't stop me from getting a piece of fish or a piece of fried chicken. Not really into beef, but you know, maybe once or twice a year, especially if I'm in Philly, I'll stop at Max's and get me a cheesesteak with extra cheese and raw onions on that joint, some hot sauce and ketchup. We ain't had one of them in a long time. In fact, next time we go to Philly, we gotta stop by Max's. You know what I mean? that red meat hit your stomach, you could tell the difference. Like, yo, this some heavy. This gonna hold me. You know what I mean? So them cheesesteaks so big, you can eat half of that joint. You eat half of one of them joints for real. Especially if you got fries or something. You know what I mean? So you know, I just want to let the family know. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta pretend to be holy. You know what I mean? That's one of the things about so-called religion. Re means to go back to. Legere means bondage, to tie up, to tie down, to fasten, to limit. You know what I mean? To go back to slavery. God don't have no religion. You know what I mean? There is no mystery God in that sky. You know what I mean? You know, when we say the black man is God and the black woman is goddess, we not negating, we're not saying we don't believe in one creator of creation. We believe in one creator. We just don't believe the creator is a ghost or goblin or a genie or a magician talking about abracadabra and just made the sun, moon, and stars and the planets. Nah, you know what I mean? Believe in cause and effect. The messenger teaches us Islam is not a religion. It's the nature in which we were self-created. He teaches us that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. You know what I mean? So, you know, we ride with the messenger's original, raw, direct teachings. You know what I mean? I got a, you know, office in the house, a finished basement. You know what I mean? We got our file cabinets. I got tons and tons and tons of the old, original, direct teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We got libraries down there. You know what I mean? That's my secret vaults. You know what I mean? So I vibe off them old Muhammad Speaks, the old letters from the messenger, the old tapes and books and films and footage and albums of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's just me. You know what I mean? That don't stop me from not respecting and appreciating the wisdom. You know, like my wife know, I'll get up and turn on my phone. I go on YouTube and listen to a tape from T.D. Jakes. Love that brother, wise brother. He teaches the Bible in a beautiful. I would go visit his church if I was out there. You know what I mean? I put on, me personally, I like that old Farrakhan. You know what I mean? That Farrakhan, not just when the message was there. I love that kind, but even that kind from the 1980s. You know what I mean? I love Minister Ishmael, Sister Minister Ava, Silas Muhammad. You know what I mean? Especially that 1980s Silas, the 1990s Silas, the reparations, illuminating the Nation of Islam Silas. I got all them books down in that basement. You know what I mean? You know, his style of teaching. You know what I mean? His legalese, you know what I mean? Beautiful. I love the more science teaching. I love the 5%. You know, I love them lessons. That's just my personal thing, my specialty. You know what I mean? So I love listening to the gods and the earth's building. You know what I mean? I love my Afrocentric scholars. You know what I mean? Sheikh Anta Diop and John Henry Clark and all. I've been studying them dudes for like 40 years now. You know what I mean? You know, I love ancient Kemet, Black Egypt, Nubia, the Sudan. You know what I mean? You know, even though some of our giants get set back by COINTELPRO, that's all in the struggle. You know, they come after everybody. They come after every. I remember when I used to always listen to Sinetta TV. All the black leaders on Sinetta TV, they start stripping them down, trying to like, oh, this, you know what I mean, too black, too strong. You're waking the people up. So of course, the forces that be gonna try to shut that down, shut that up. You know what I mean? But you know, I love certain different genres. You know what I mean? So I listen to all of them. You know what I mean? It's every last one of them. You know what I mean? I listen to some of that debates, but I prefer the unity. You know what I mean? I promote the unity. You know what I mean? But we have female scholars out there like Dr. Frances Cress Welsing with the ISIS paper. Them things, you know, there's community leaders, you know, like local. Like I go to Philly, you know, thoughts of peace be upon her, but Mama Kosa was like, man, she was like a prophetess to me. You know what I mean? She was so active in the struggle. You know what I mean? She was doing so much for our people that she's an unsung hero in my book. You know what I mean? I love Dr. Khalid. You know what I mean? You know, love the old Malcolm X. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, Malcolm fell out with the nation and all that, but usually when people talk about Malcolm X, they talking about Malcolm when he was in the nation, or you know what I mean, immediately when he was doing his Afrocentric stuff. You know what I mean? You know, brilliant man. You can't take that from him. You know what I mean? I personally don't like Imam Warfdin Muhammad destroying the nation. I think we got time to get him some money. We gave him some money earlier, but we get him some more money. We ain't got a bunch of money, but give whenever we can. There you go, Shorty. Y'all supporting? We want to support y'all business. We don't want no water. Y'all just keep that. My wife got that for you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all be safe out here.
Be safe.
Stay positive, bro. Yeah, but the youth out there, they be trying to, instead of trick-or-treating, they out there legally hustling, running that business, selling waters. You know what I mean? That goes to show that, I mean, I got hope for the future. I got confidence in them. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, these young boys is crazy. I'm like, man, these young boys is geniuses. You know what I mean? They on a whole nother level. We got the police and the homeless out here. You know what I mean? You know, it be this black sister and this white girl be out here, but the police, you know what I mean? It's like mixed feelings with stuff like that, because on one hand, it's a public place, it's the public library. So, you know, you go into the public library, you don't want homeless people with no mask on, coughing and sneezing, and, you know, you got dirty, wet clothes around it. But at the same time, you're like, what kind of country is this? What kind of state, what kind of county is this where you have homeless? Well, one thing in this city, you know, a lot of, I honestly can say, I'm not no pro system person, but for me living out here, I can honestly say, if you're homeless or you're hungry, you absolutely can get shelter and food and health care in the city of Coatesville if you out here. That's one thing. So it's not a lot of homeless people. So the homeless people, the few homeless people I do see, and I would say I could count them probably on one hand. It's about 5 of them. I think that they really out here because they personally, you know, some people don't like going in shelters. They might have been abused in there. They might have got robbed in there. They might feel constricted in there. They may have mental health issues. You know what I mean? So, you know, I see the homeless brothers and sisters out here. My thing is I talk to them, support them, give them a couple of dollars if I can. You know what I mean? We bring a little food. We always donating clothes and coats and stuff like that there. You know what I mean? But it's real important that we don't judge people that we think is beneath us or inferior to us, because they could be rich in spirit. They could be more educated than us. They could be from a family more wealthy than us. They just homeless. I mean, maybe they on a run. Maybe they trying to escape an abusive relationship. They like, listen, I got $1 million at home. I don't want to go home. I got 9 cars. I don't want them cars. I'd rather be free, you know what I mean? You know, than an abusive mental type relationship. Who knows? You know what I mean? You know, so just, you know, talking to people, you get to know them, you know what I mean? And whether you agree or disagree, all you can do is offer your services and keep it moving. The sun down here is bright, so I don't want to blind y'all, but you can imagine driving and seeing the sun that bright. You could get blind on this joint. You got your visor? The sun is bright. Now you're going in the shade though, so this should be cool. I mean, so, you know, just wanted to have a little friendly fireside chat with y'all. You know what I mean? We just talking, sharing, building. I mean, and we just gonna give y'all some of the messages and teachings regarding holidays, as I said. You know what I mean? But it's like it's not done out of a sense of superiority or you being inferior or me being a big I and you being a little you. In the nation we don't have no big I's and little U's. You know what I mean? We're all brothers and sisters in the struggles. You know what I mean? Just because somebody may not be as handsome or cute as you, or as wealthy as you, or as educated as you, that don't mean that they're less than you. They can have attributes and gifts that supersede yours in other areas of their life. You know what I mean? They could be more kinder than you. They could be more loving than you. You know what I mean? So, we want the family to know. We just wanted to give you a little quick tour of the neighborhood. We was on Lincoln Highway, so that's like a strip. So that's not really the houses. We could have went to the actual little streets, took y'all on Virginia Avenue or actually on Diamond Street or whatever, where the people actually live, and going past their houses, you would see all the Halloween decorations and all that stuff like that. It's like this road we on right now. You really don't see much because this isn't really where a lot of people live at. You know what I mean? But people drive down this road and turn into the little enclaves. You know what I mean? We gonna turn into our little enclave. But we're gonna stop at the store real quick. So we just gonna pull up at the store, but I'm gonna close this for now, then I'm gonna open it back up, give y'all some quotes. In fact, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wait till I get in the crib. When I get in the house, I'm gonna pull out Our Savior Has Arrived and read some of the supreme wisdom from Messenger Elijah Muhammad, and pull out my Maulana Muhammad Ali Holy Quran, and pull out my Schofield Scholars Bible, and give y'all a few scriptures to go along with for this year's Halloween. But don't feel bad if you got your children, y'all trying to do some little trick-or-treating the day or tomorrow. Y'all want to eat some turkey or roast beef or whatever for Thanksgiving. I ain't with Curse Columbus and all that, but I'm about love and unity in the family. And your actions are judged by your intentions. Peace and blessings, fam. Back in the house, and I'm about to read from Our Savior Has Arrived, published February 26, 1974, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. I'm reading from page number 165. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, and I quote him, "My dear black brothers and black sisters, the religious Christian holidays that you celebrate are holidays for white people and not for black people. The white people do not worship any day belonging to black people. Why should you worship their days which are to their interest and not to the interest of the black man?" He goes on to say, "As a people who have been robbed and spoiled, as we the black people have been robbed of our own, naturally we dance by the music of the white race, by the white slave master and his children, until we learn who we are. So now we are learning who we are, and a great separation is taking place between black and white." He goes on to explain to us about these holidays. He says, and I quote him, on page number 166 of the same book, Our Savior Has Arrived, he says, quote, "We make a fool out of ourselves by jumping up worshiping days and people that the white slave master and his children say we are to worship." He goes on to say on page 167, he says, "You would rather have the false than to have the truth. That is why you do not follow me." Now that's sad but true. We would rather have the false than to have the truth. That's why we don't want to follow the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We often think we know better. But even though this was written back in 1974, we still see the truth of this, the reality of this, the importance of this in the year 2021. If it's a thing of respect, as I said, that be there. Like you'll have white people that would take off work and make a federal holiday out of Dr. Martin Luther King's Day. Now, I mean, they'll acknowledge Black History Month Kwanzaa and things of that nature there. You know what I mean? But you don't see them really celebrating it. You know what I mean? But you really see our people celebrating Christmas and New Year's and Easter and Halloween and Thanksgiving and all the rest of it. And again, as I said, our lessons teaches us that actions are judged by intentions. Actions may appear wrong, but motives bring rewards. So your niyat or your intent may be good. I mean, but in our house, we don't decorate our house for Christmas. We don't decorate our house for Halloween. We don't decorate our house for any of the holidays of not just Christians, but the pagan holidays, period, if you will. You know what I mean? But we do consider every day a holiday, every day a holy day, every day a blessing because we're alive. We have our health. We have a home. We have uh, heat in the winter, air conditioner in the summer. Now, I mean, turn the fan. I'm not really into air conditioning. I mean, I got summer allergies, but I turn my fans on. We got fans. You know what I mean? You know, to be able to eat a decent meal. Some people go to bed hungry at night. You know what I mean? Some people sleep outside in the summer. Some people sleep outside in the winter. Some people sleep outside in the rain. You know what I mean? Um, some people can't take a bath or a shower. Not that they don't want to, they just don't have access to a bath or shower. You know what I mean? We live in a world where, you know, our humanity is being lost. Our brotherhood and sisterhood, the trust, the love and respect is so crushed because of chattel slavery. It's like even if we was to say go out into society and bring homeless people into our home, we put our lives at danger in this day and time. Now, I mean, they may have mental health issues. You may lose your life while you sleep. They may have addictions. You may wake up and find that they robbed your house, stole your little possessions. Now, I mean, you may not wake up at all. Now, I mean, you may be harmed in so many different ways that, you know, most people, including me, we don't take that type of risk. You know what I mean, we rather help them help themselves. We rather get them placement. We rather give them some money, help them go to a shelter, help them connect with their family. We do what we can do, but really, I would love to bring homeless people into my home. Let them take a shower in my shower. You know what I mean? But I don't want to have a nick from shaving or a cut on my foot and they have athletic feet or they have an addiction or they have mental health problems that I'm not aware of. And when I'm serving them some food, they see something that's not there or hear something that's not there, or they may have an anxiety attack and they want to harm me or my family. They want to destroy property. They want to harm themselves. Now, I mean, it's a huge problem. Now, I mean, and it breaks my heart not just to see our people, to see anyone suffer like that on the face of the planet Earth, where we have so many resources, but so much disorganization, so much greed, so much envy, so much stress, so much depression, so much chaos, so much poverty. Now, I mean, that you really have to be careful. Now, I mean, because in this world, you have the haves and the have-nots. I mean, people follow you on social media not because they want to be your friend or they are interested in your wisdom or your lifestyle, but because they plotting. Now, I mean, they want to seduce you sexually. They want to rob you. They want to kill you. Now I mean, they want to drug you. It's just crazy. Now I mean, so it's like you gotta be careful. Now I mean, it's like you just can't send your children out by themselves in this day and time. Most wise parents are like, I'm going with my child if I take my child somewhere out trick or treating anyway. But a lot of parents just send their children out there in the wilderness of North America. The children never come home. It's sad. It's a evil world we're living in. The residue of Dr. Yaqub Shabaz's technology is still here. You know what I mean? So the messenger in his book, I'll Say Has Arrived, I find peace in just reading some of the messenger's literature. Got literature all over the place for those of y'all that may never have read it. But, read The Flag of Islam. You know what I mean? Read Message to the Black Man in America, The Fall of America, Supreme Wisdom, Volume 1, Supreme Wisdom, Volume 2, How Did to Live, Book Number 1, How Did to Live, Book Number 2. Listen to the messenger tapes. Get them old Muhammad Speaks. You know what I mean? That don't negate the icing on the cake. That don't take away from his ministers, his captains, and secretaries that can teach you things that's not in the books. You know what I mean? The messenger books don't teach you how to drill, to do search procedure, post procedure, front rostrum posts, and things of that nature there. So some things that there's benefits in our unity. But the messenger, his position, his teachings, we have to believe in all of them. And part of those teachings is that when he's gone, and he's gone, whether you believe he's coming back or not, it's a different subject, but he basically teaches us that after he's gone, the Nation of Islam will continue to exist, but it will not be run by local mosques or temples. And in 2021, in all of the major cities, you see different ministers, captains, and secretaries with good intentions setting up local mosques and local temples and still trying to do it the old way. But the messenger position was that the old Islam, talking about the Orthodox Islam, is going to have to make way for a new Islam. Al-Jadi Islam, the old way, is going to have to make way for Al-Jadi Islam is the new Islam. Al-Arik Islam is the old Islam, the Orthodox Islam. He didn't really disbelieve in the old Islam. He believed in the old Islam. He believed in the Holy Quran. He believed in the oneness of the Creator. He believed in the Khatim Nabi, or the seal of the prophets. He believed that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or thoughts of peace be upon him, of 1,400 plus years ago, is the last prophet. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not and is not our prophet. He's not a Nabi. He's a messenger, or a Rasul. And the Holy Quran teaches us every nation gets a Rasul, or a messenger, and that messenger speaks the language of his people. So if Prophet Muhammad, the Nabi, was here in America speaking Arabic or Arabic, we wouldn't understand him. You know what I mean? We wouldn't really reject him because we wouldn't even understand what he's talking about. If he wrote something in Arabic, we couldn't read it. You know what I mean? Most of us anyway. Some people born in America are fluent in Arabic and other languages. They can read it, write it, recite it, what have you. You know what I mean? And that's beautiful, but the masses can't. You know what I mean? It's like, I studied Arabic, you know what I mean? Not to master it, but just so that I can read the Quran for myself. I studied tafsir. I learned how to read and write Arabic. You know what I mean? I got Arabic dictionaries and all that in my libraries, but I don't consider myself a traditional Arab. I never followed the Sunnah in the sense of organized religion. I believe that all FOIs and MGTs follow the Sunnah. All FOIs and MGTs are Christians, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the Quran and Bible is true if you understand it. I mean, if you that's a brilliant way of putting it. Now, I mean, it's like you can take the Bible and come out of it with slavery. You could take the Quran and come out with terrorism, oppression. You know what I mean? But that's not the original intent of those books. You know what I mean? We believe that the Holy Quran or Bible is made by the original people, who is Allah, the supreme being, a black man of Asia. So our lessons, Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, teaches us there's nothing spooky about scriptures. You know what I mean? You know, our Afrocentric brothers and sisters say the same thing. They just say the ancestors. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, yes, the ancestors. You know, sometimes we transmit our ideas, you know, verbally. You know what I mean? We don't physically have to write it down. Sometimes we write down the meta or the hieroglyphics or the holy writings. You know what I mean? Sometimes certain cultures don't do that. You know what I mean? They pass it down from generation to generation. And, you know, myths and legends come from that. Organized religions come from that. Rituals, signs and symbols come from that type of stuff. But it's all about the people. It's all about the people trying to understand the universe that they dwell in, trying to understand themselves, trying to better themselves, protect themselves, safeguard themselves. You know, so that's natural. That's common sense. You know what I mean? And these teachings from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, whether you're with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or Salas Muhammad, or you just follow the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or you're a member of the Nation of Gods and Earths, do you. Now, I mean, if it's working for you, stick with that. You know what I mean? But don't feel as though you have to find fault in a different type of fruit or a different type of flower or a different type of FOI, a different type of MGT. Some fruit is sweet, some is sour, some is bitter. Don't expect oranges and pineapples, bananas to grow in North Philadelphia. They just don't grow there. Citrus fruit don't take root there. It's not that they're not fruit. It's not that they're better fruit. It's just that in North Philly, apples and pears grow there. You know what I mean? That don't mean that apples and pears can't grow in Miami, Florida, or in Jamaica, or oranges can't grow in California. It's just that you can't plant naturally oranges in Brooklyn, New York. You don't plant bananas in Richmond, Virginia. You know what I mean? You may be able to plant peaches in Atlanta, Georgia, but you don't plant kiwi fruit and pineapples in Atlanta, Georgia, because they're a different type of fruit. And the beauty of the fruit, when it comes together, it forms a cornucopia when it's unified. So there's only one nation of Islam. You know what I mean? So the MGTs are like, some are roses, some are lotus flowers, some are daisies. You know what I mean? They have different aromas, different textures, different colors, different seasons. Some grow in the mud, some grow in dry land, some grow in wetlands. You know what I mean? So spiritually speaking, so it is with the believers. We have to realize that Allah raises us in degrees. You know what I mean? And we have to lower our wings to one another. We have to be humble and submissive with these teachings. You know what I mean? And, you know, depending on how you came up, your culture, your environment, your circumstances, that's how you're going to have to soldier. You know what I mean? It's not that you're superior or inferior. It's just that we're all unique. We're different. You know what I mean? When you study this universe, there's all kind of atoms, but they all have a common origin. So I wouldn't care if it's Farrakhan, Jeremiah Shabazz, Solomon, Imam Isa, if it's whoever. You'll see that there's a link that goes directly back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad. And when we say that, we don't mean that that's the origin of everything. No, we're saying that's the unification that we all coming from. Because Master Fard Muhammad will go right back to his father, and his father go right back to his father, and he'll go right back to his mother's mother, his father's father, his people's. So there's no beginning or ending. So if you're black, we're with that. And if you're black, that includes the brown seed. I mean, that includes the yellow seed, the red seed, the white seed. Everyone and everything has its origin in the original man. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, regarding these so-called holy days or holidays, I mean, he established his own cosmology and theology. And his thing is basically we have our December Ramadan. We have our July 4th Black Independence Day. We October the 7th is the messenger's date of birth. You know what I mean? It's not an official holiday, but it's a holiday that many people acknowledge and celebrate. So there's minor days and major days like anything. You know what I mean? But like America, we don't want to commercialize the so-called holidays and lose the substance. We want to share it. You know what I mean? Like one of the things in this Outsiders Arrived that's real deep to me that I notice a lot of believers don't practice. The message explained to us about, the Bible. His thing is like the Bible teaches you, you don't supposed to decorate your door with a bell. You're supposed to decorate your door with a trumpet because the trumpet is a symbol of the resurrection of the mentally dead. Now, I mean, so the trumpet, the angel's trumpet, is a symbol that you see on the Final Call newspaper. You see it mentioned by Messenger Elijah Muhammad himself. Now, I mean, he didn't make it mandatory that you put a trumpet on your door, but he gives us nods. He gives us hints. He gives us suggestions. Now, I mean, he gives us an example. So we have the sunnah of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or the way of life, or the straight path, the Sirat al-Mustaqim of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. How did he do things? What would he do? Now, I mean, and it's not etched in stone. You know what I mean? It's not spooky. I mean, but it's like some people think that we need certain things that we don't need. You know what I mean? The messenger thing is like his teachings is sufficient. It's you can love Allah and his messenger and not be in a organized church or organized masjid or mosque or organized temple. Not that you have anything against it, not that you wouldn't go in there, and support it. It's just that it's not necessary. When you understand the messenger teachings, his thing is like, listen, the whole earth is going to be a temple. The whole earth is going to be the masjid. You are the temple. You are the mosque. You are the school. You are the house of Allah. You are the Kaaba. I mean, you are Allah. That's not my teachings. That's the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm just going to read something to y'all from this book. This is Our Savior Has Arrived. He says in chapter 10, on page number 26, February 26, 1974, in the chapter title, I Want to Teach You. Now, what I'm going to read you, I want you to look at yourself and ask yourself, do you believe this? Because this is the teachings, the original direct teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because a lot of people, I notice, when they speak of Allah, they sound like the old Islam. They sound like they follow the Sunnah, or they sound like they Orthodox Muslims. They sound like they talking about a mystery God, a mystery Allah. I mean, that is not what Master Fard Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad believed. This is what they taught. I quote, "Yesterday you could not find me. I was so wrapped in the mist that people were trampling on me and they didn't know I was down there in the mud. All praise is due to Allah. Allah is all of us. But we have a supreme one that we can throw this name holy upon. He is Allah, the one over all of us." Probably the TV. The one over all of us, the most supreme one, the wisest one, the mightiest one, The one that sees and hears that which we can't see and hear. That is He. He is rooted in all of us. Every righteous person is a God. We are all God. When we say Allah, we mean every righteous person. Allah teaches me that He is a man, not something that is other than man. The Holy Quran refers to Him in such pronouns as He and as we and as us. There are so many of us who are ready to argue and dispute about the God. If you don't believe that He is a man, then bring me the one that you represent. You say, I don't believe in God being a man. What do you believe in? Show me what you believe in. I can show you my God. Show me yours. On the day of resurrection, the Bible and the Holy Quran teaches us that we will be brought face to face with the true God, the evil and the good one. This is going on today, my friends. If I preach to you that the white race is the devil, then where is the good God? If this is the evil God, then where is the good one? If you tell me that He doesn't have any form, then I say, how in the world can you prove to me that you are making me acquainted with a God? How can I see nothing? Some enemies of the true God, the visible God, have deceived you and are making you think that there's no such thing as a visible God. I want to say to you, my friends, if you don't have one that is visible, see Allah the visible way. Think that over for a moment. This is from chapter 10 of Our Savior Has Arrived, the title, I Want to Teach You. The messenger personally taught that, published that, believed that, and he taught that to us. And he goes on page number 56, I want to read another part. He says to us, and I quote him, "This is a day and time that you should know God. There are two on the scene at the present time, an evil God and a good God. When we say Allah, that name means God and covers all Muslims. All Muslims are Allahs, but we call the Supreme Allah the Supreme Being, and He has a name of His own. This name is Fard Muhammad. Fard is a name meaning an independent one and one who is not on the level of the average gods, Allahs. It is a name independent to itself, which actually means one whom we must obey or else He destroys us. This honorable, majestic person comes in the last day. The reason why we call Him the Supreme Being is because He is supreme over all beings or is wiser than all. The Holy Quran teaches He is wiser than them, meaning all the gods before and all who are now present. Think that over. That's the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You may not believe it, you may not accept it, but you can't deny the fact that that is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. And sad to say, too many FOIs and MGTs are not studying that, believing that, and practicing that, and advocating that, and sharing that with the world. But Allah is all of us. We don't believe in a mystery God in the nation of Islam. The 5%, the poor righteous teachers, teach freedom, justice, and equality. We're taught to answer our own prayers and Message to the Black Man in America, 1965 book by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So stop this spooky stuff. Stop the headlong rush towards the old Islam. We're bringing a new Islam. If you want to really understand and get the divine supreme wisdom directly from the messenger, I can't give it to you. No minister, captain, or secretary can give it to you. But you can get it by studying the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We can help you by sharing the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But the messenger holds himself accountable for the clear delivery of Allah's message because he knows that we can make mistakes. I can make all kind of mistakes. You know what I mean? I've made all kind of mistakes. You know what I mean? I don't claim to be the messenger of Allah. I don't claim to be holier than thou or divine or magical or any of that. You know what I mean? I only claim to be your brother in the struggle. I can learn from you just like you can learn something from me. I mean, there's aspects of life that you can teach me, that can help me. There's things that you can teach me that can hurt me, and vice versa. So what I like to do is get you to study for yourself. I mean, piece it apart, as the messenger said. He said, don't take his teachings hook, line, and sinker. Now, I mean, I like to refer you to the original direct teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because that way, when you check it out for yourself, you'll be like, oh, this is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. Now, I mean, you may have these books already in your possession. Now, I mean, we're in the age of social media. You could go online and buy the books. In fact, I'll give a link. You could download the books nowadays. Now, I mean, but you want to get the divine and direct teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That way, when the holidays come around, or the so-called holy days or unholy days, whether it's Halloween, whether it's Easter, whether it's Christmas, whatever, you'll have a safety net. You know what I mean? You'll have a light in the darkness. You know what I mean? And by you studying the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, you'll know that our lessons teach us to be humble and submissive, tolerant and understanding, courteous and respectful. So you don't act like you're better than somebody just because they may practice a pagan belief. They may have a pagan ritual or a pagan symbol. You know what I mean? The only thing you could do is be an example. The only thing you could do is try to educate them, but you can't force it on them. If they don't want it, hey, you know what I mean? Your thing is you try your best to show love, to spread knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, to be an example. But you're not going to be able to please all the people all the time. The message explained that in the Fall of America. There never was a king or a president or a ruler that had 100% of the people with them 100% of the time. That's just not mathematics. That's spooky. That's not Islam. So with that, we're going to close. And as I said, on the screen, I'm going to put some quotes from the scriptures for you and some quotes from the messenger too, inshallah, Sakim. Know what I mean? And I pray within and work without that you have a common sense approach to these so-called holidays. You can send your questions to ministeralif@gmail.com, and I'll try to share with you some insight from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If you have any questions about any of the messenger teachings that I can help you with, I'll do that for you for free. Peace and blessings, family. One love.